This one might be a risk for you to taste.
Okay. Bourbon whiskey finished with Texas pecan wood.
Ugh. Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
That ain't it?
No, we're not gonna. You don't need to taste that.
That ain't it?
Hey, welcome back to the Fred Minnick Show. I've got a real special guest with me here, Trent Harmon, man. How are you doing, sir?
What is good, man?
You know, we didn't text, but we're both wearing a little jean
No,
action.
and I would absolutely rock this. It's like an Ascot glove.
Yeah.
I would wear that so much.
I got one. I'm going to give you one.
I'll
On the
find
way out.
something to give you.
Yeah, no need, but definitely got an Ascot for you.
Thank you.
This is actually a custom one that I made.
You made that.
Yeah, well, I didn't physically make it, but I worked with a
Let me see that.
designer. Yeah, here.
You gotta take it off. I don't
Yeah.
need to do that. But-
Yeah.
So you got a little. How'd you do that? How'd you pick those colors? Oh, it's glasses of bourbon.
Yeah, it's glasses of bourbon, right?
Oh my gosh.
And you can have that one, or I've got a fresh one for you.
I'll have to look at the other one to choose, but this one's gonna be hard to beat. I want to read this. Peak Ties.
Yeah, Peak Ties.
Peak Ties. Homemade,
Yeah.
handmade since 2010.
Yeah, it's a really good.
It's gonna be. I cannot absolutely just take this one off of you though.
Well, at least let me show you how to tie it.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
this
I have
is-
no idea.
Tying an Ascot is actually pretty easy. So what you do,
Starts like a tie.
it starts like a tie. You get one end down lower, and you come in under and go
Yeah.
over like this. It's almost like a double Windsor, and then you come back over like this, and
Over and through.
over, and then
Through the front.
to the front,
Pull from the front.
and then you poof it up, push it up, and boom,
On top.
right there. I did that blind without a mirror. Is it still pretty straight?
It's about 97%, man.
Right on. All right.
That was impressive. I can't do the double. I got the single Windsor. No problem. But the
Yeah,
double,
if you do it single, the only thing is like it won't stay fixed. It'll keep falling
too
down.
much material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what I've been on stage before, like emceeing something.
Yeah.
And the thing kept just popping out and everything, and it was just like, and I'd see photos of it like hanging up in my beard.
It was like a bib now.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
there's, not all Ascots tie the same. This one
Really?
this one's made out of cotton, so it fixes a little better. Some of the finer silks get really, they
Kinda
like
loosey goosey.
Yeah, they like the-
Yeah.
like silk sheets. They like to slide.
Be careful. You don't run and jump on silk sheets.
No, you do not.
Wind up in the floor.
Now I don't have a lot of experience in that, but that's what I'm told.
That was my uncle told me that. I don't know.
Man, thanks for coming on. I love that you're a big bourbon fan, but we have to talk about our mutual friend who
my
connected
gosh.
us, Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne, one of my favorite humans. I always say he's arguably the best singer in Nashville. Just walking around, if you just happen to see him, you could be looking at one of the best singers in Nashville.
Wow.
That's not exaggeration.
Wow.
I'm on record saying that.
Wow.
Love Nick and Hannah. They're both great.
And he's an amazing songwriter.
Great
you know?
songwriter.
But what I love about him is he's a great human being,
Great man. Good dude. Hard worker.
And this music industry, from what I'm seeing, it can suck the life out of you. And he's kept it going.
He's kept it pretty middle of the road, man. I've known him for a few years now. We actually have a song on my record. We wrote a song. It's probably my favorite song on the record. And he hasn't changed one bit from the day that I met him several years ago until, a lot of people do. You can't help it. You just get
Right.
caught up in it. You know how it is. You just get
Right.
caught up. But that dude stayed consistent.
Wow. Yeah. So you've had like a great career. You're young. You're just getting going, but you won a little show called American Idol.
I did, man.
What's that been like?
Man, Fred, I'll tell you, I didn't intend to be famous in that sense. Like when you go from, and you've heard it before. Yeah, man, I was just, the guy this past week I saw on the show, the one that's went viral, dude just works on a garbage truck. He's the most talked about person in the United States for the next 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, man. That's a weird juxtaposition to go be this guy and this guy at the same time, because I was still just the guy that works at my parents. My parents have a steakhouse back where I'm from in Mississippi, and to be that guy and to be the guy on TV at the same time, it's crazy. Just things that you never think of. You know, you're just going to get a cup of coffee, or you're just going walking down to get a drink or whatever, and somebody knows who you are and they pay for it for you, and you feel, I don't deserve that. Huh? So you just it's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I almost have 2 birthdays.
Yeah.
Like that day, moving forward, and then everything before that.
Do you miss the privacy?
Absolutely. It's like you don't realize privacy is something you can't afford. Like it's just something that you can't buy it. I don't care where you go, you know. So.
Like I noticed, like even your Instagram account, you know, you have it as private. Like you're not public.
No. Yeah, isn't that weird?
No, I respect it.
Instagram. So my Instagram got hacked a few times, and then I just recently got married, and so we weren't married then. But my wife, she was actually, to use a millennial term, she was Instagram famous in her own way.
Okay.
She blogged and she did product reviews and stuff, and her account got hacked, kind of by way of me, and so this is just ridiculous. You know, this is
like what? Like what did they do?
They just took over the account, changed the password to get the password back. So erased all her photos. And you don't realize, you know, a lot of times whenever I upload a photo, I might delete it or delete the video off my phone. So the only record of it I would have would be that social.
Wow.
And so she lost all that, you know, from like 4 or 5 years. It's just gone.
Wow.
Turned it all into a different language that we weren't able to actually log in because we couldn't read anything.
Did Instagram do anything? Did they like?
I was in touch with Instagram. They weren't too quick to jump on top of it, and they did eventually get in touch. But I mean they were all right about it. We'll do what we can. We can't do a lot. Like, you know, we don't know what this is. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
what are you gonna do though?
that's true, but you know, for all those who you know accumulate numbers, you know, get as many passwords and changes and stuff, I guess is the lesson here.
It is, and record it. Keep a record of it. Write it down. There's nothing wrong with old-fashioned handwriting stuff down. Like you know, it made me go do it. So you got a hard copy of it.
I'm gonna change my passwords like today.
This
is like
I
scary.
do. I just have a reminder on my phone, like every quarter, change the password, write the new one down in a journal.
Wow.
It just, you know, better to have it, not need it.
So your music, it really connects. You know, it really connects with me. Like I feel like, you know, like some of the things that like her. I mean, that could have been like any. It could have been any of my girlfriends or my wife, or just, you know, that song was just so powerful to me.
Thank you, man.
So
yeah,
you know, where did in your the other ones where, you know, you've taken everything from me, that kind of that feel in the song. I feel like you're like every dude, you know. You write like every dude who's had a moment and has lost a girlfriend or a wife or something. You just got that. That's beautiful.
I wrote all those, kind of started on them while I was doing the show, and you know, I came to Nashville and I was so grateful to have songwriters like Nick Wayne that I was able to give a little bit of my story to, and then they would say, yeah, well, I can kind of add to that, or I kind of understand what you're saying in a verse. I'm telling a story, but he's like, you know, we got to put this into a verse. And so I wrote some of those songs. I was sad. It's my first album, by the way, so everything was new. It was like, let's go create something literally from the ground up. I didn't even know what it meant to get in a room and write an album. And I don't know, you know, it's like a new bottle. I wouldn't even want to read it. I wouldn't want to know who I was writing with that day because it would be so raw. I didn't want to know any of the things that I was walking into.
Right.
I just wanted to write it, see if it sticks, throw it against the wall. If it works, let's keep that.
Yeah.
And we got good songs. We got really good songs, and you better write stuff that you like, because it's a good problem to have, that you sing it for the rest of your life every night.
Yeah.
You know, you're just saying you saw Garth. I'm sure he sang some of the songs that he's been singing every night since our parents were going to his show, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, he did, absolutely.
Yeah.
And your voice too is like your voice is an incredible instrument.
I appreciate that, man.
You got range.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, especially like days like today. You know, it's hey, can you sing that at 7 at night? Absolutely, about 7 in the morning. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
How do you take care of your voice?
it's just a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like you do push-ups to get in shape, you got to do push-ups to keep this muscle. You know, if you don't work out your voice, and then you just, you know, say I think I'll play ultimate frisbee today, and you just pull every muscle in your body because it's not used to doing that. You
Right.
know? So you just got to sing every day. I sing 30 minutes every day, no matter what I'm doing. I try to sing for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, but just do it. You know?
And if you get like your throat starts hurting or whatever, do you drink a coffee? Would you lemon juice?
I treat that again like just listen to your body. If the throat's hurting, you've used it too much. Take a break. You know, you're not. Whenever you sing, whenever you sweat, you're not sweating out Gatorade. So why drink a Gatorade when you're thirsty? You know, you're sweating out water. So put water back in. That's what you're pushing out. You know, so not that I love Gatorade. I drink it, but I don't reach for the coffee or drink. A lot of people reach for the bourbon.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt, depending on what day it is. But a lot of times you just need to stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
What is so like after like you won American Idol, and that it's still fairly recent, like the last couple years. Do they tell you what to do? Do you get like do they set you up with like tours and how does that work?
It was a very, very unique situation I was in because it was the last season on that network.
Right, that's right.
So there was a year where it was nothing. There wasn't a show. So I was kind of just, hey, we got you this far. Go figure it out. And I was already in Nashville, writing and playing writers rounds and just trying to get my original music good enough to be remembered from one show to the next. That's really the goal. Can you get them to the show? All right. Can you get them to come back? And so I just got back to Nashville as quickly as I could. I think I went home for 10 or 12 days and then got back here as quickly as I could. And so, yeah, not really in my case, no, which I was grateful of because it was all on the West Coast. And I don't live on the West Coast, so I didn't want to really stay connected there. I needed to get here and get,
I mean, your roots are your country, but you could be pop. You could be. I mean, to be honest with you, I could see you doing a little death metal.
Death metal.
I could see you getting in some death metal.
I've never, I could never scream.
Really?
So, yeah, I never could. And I've got cousins that do metal, and they're metal heads. And I listened to a lot of metal, believe it or not, growing up, and played drums. But I never could scream.
Okay, so we take.
Are you a metalhead?
Well, I do like metal.
Do you really?
I love metal.
We got to talk about that at some point. It ain't got to be right now. But
well, who's your favorite band?
I like old metal. I like new metal. Back in the day, I was a huge Lemmy fan, which I know Lemmy says he's not metal. He says he's hard rock or whatever. But, I don't know. New stuff, like in college, I went to see one of the first metal shows I went to, Between the Buried and Me, to listen to them.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff, but it was what people my age were listening to,
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Who'd you listen to, or who you still listen to?
Oh, I've had the opportunity to like hang out with Metallica and Slipknot.
Absolutely.
And so it's like it's hard not to. After you've spent time with those types of bands, it's hard not to just like sit down and listen to them constantly. But there's a relatively new band called Beartooth.
Yeah,
they're out of Ohio, and I think they're amazing.
I'm not just saying, oh, I've heard of them. I think I've heard some of their work.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're. I should know more of their work. Huge. Who'd you say? You said Slipknot. Oh,
Slipknot.
Metallica. I got to see Metallica last year.
Nice.
A couple times. That was a good show.
Man, they put on a show, don't they?
It was a show. I mean, I was tired by the end of the show. It was almost 3 hours, no opener. Great show.
It's like, how do they have so much energy?
And I mean, that's what I told my dad. I was like, they're your age.
Yeah.
They are your
55,
age, and they're doing that for 3 hours. Like, gosh,
it's crazy. Well, I think it's time we start pouring you a little whiskey here.
Man, what are we doing first?
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start paring down your flavor profile.
Okay. What does that mean?
I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
Okay.
And what I'm going to be doing, I'll be eliminating whiskeys and picking out whiskeys in my head, figuring out which one's right for you. And if you drink bourbon regularly, you do like the taste of bourbon, just on a normal basis.
Especially if we're singing, if we're on the road or whatever. I don't really want to have anything but.
You only want bourbon while you're on the road.
More or less, yeah.
You drink it on the ice or neat, or how do you normally drink it?
Depends on the bourbon.
Okay, very nice. Well, this is a man who knows
depends
how to drink
on what time of day it is, too. You know.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have any ice here, so you're gonna have to drink it neat.
I would rather, especially if it's something I hadn't had. You know,
okay, good. Now, do you normally drink it? Do you normally drink this early, or have you drank this early before?
Well, we live in Nashville, Fred. So, no. But this is, I wouldn't say this. We're tasting. This is, I would say, this is like a food fair show, food show.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so what was your first drink growing up?
I don't know. Probably a whiskey. Probably a whiskey or a bourbon.
Okay.
Something brown. I can't.
All right.
I don't.
What's your favorite food?
I would always go for something probably more salty than sweet.
Okay, so you like savory stuff.
Savory. There you go.
Okay.
That's the word.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions regarding particular flavors. Mm-hmm. You tell me which one you like more.
Okay.
Caramel or nutmeg more?
Caramel.
Cinnamon or caramel more?
Cinnamon.
Oh, okay. All right. So our first taste, actually, you're going to get to drain this one.
Little bitty guy there.
This is a limited edition. It's the limited edition 2019 Four Roses limited edition small batch. This was actually number 4 on my whiskeys of the year for 2019.
Yeah, and I creeped on some of your material, man.
I
did. I'm a Four Roses fan. So
okay, well that makes sense. So that's a very cinnamon forward. Their recipes tend to yield a lot of cinnamon. And he tastes like he's done this before. Swishing it all around there. Oh, very nice.
Chew it, you know.
You do the old Kentucky chew. My good friend Fred No, from the master distiller for Jim Beam. Mm-hmm. I almost said Four Roses. But he goes around, like, he and his dad basically invented the Kentucky chew, and the way they describe to do it, you smack your lips around, you move it all around your palate and everything. And every time I do that out in public, people just kind of look at me funny.
Look at you like,
yeah, I'm like. So I figured out there's a less conspicuous way of doing it. You just roll it around your tongue a little bit, but they're both effective measures.
This is delicious, just for the record.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
You said this was number 4. What does that mean when you said?
So I did a blind tasting of what I picked as to be like my 35 top whiskeys of the year.
Okay. Oh, of the list, the rank.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I ranked it number 4 for 2019.
I thought you meant this was the 4th bottle that was bought. I was like, why did we just finish this?
Well, if I had to finish it, I'm glad it was with you.
I appreciate it. And
so now we got you in. So we've pegged you as a cinnamon fan. So I'm gonna start. There's any number of these up here have like a cinnamon note in it. So cinnamon's a prominent note in bourbons that tend to carry a rye in the recipe and have some age to them. So do you like?
And Fred, I'm not very learned. I'm not. I know kind of what I like, but I do not. So I don't know a lot of this. I'm here to learn.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm here to teach.
Yeah, guide away.
So cinnamon being your benchmark note for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start seeing like what kind of nuts do you like?
Nothing's off the board. Everything.
Nothing's off the board.
Pistachios, I love.
Okay.
I just to go the opposite direction. I do not like peanuts. I do not like not nutmeg. What's the one you eat at Christmas? What's the one that
Chestnuts.
Do not like chestnuts.
Oh my God, I don't like those either.
Do not like chestnuts.
Yeah, those are like chewy and like.
I don't get it.
I think the only reason why we still eat them is like nostalgia.
It's Christmas songs. You sing it, so you feel like it. I love pecans.
Okay.
I don't really love roasted pecans. I'd rather have them, like the burnt pecan taste. I don't love that. But
so you like the kind of like a bitterness almost.
Yeah, just like a raw pecan, pistachios.
So this is a new bourbon brand called New Riff. It's from northern Kentucky. It is a
it's a pretty bottle.
It is the guys they're big music fans, so they named it New Riff, kind of like a riff on a guitar.
I like that. Yeah.
But this has like a pretty bright. This has got a little bit of grain forward notes in there, so you might pick up some corn. But there's like a pecan, a pretty prominent pecan note.
Yeah.
I've always gotten in this.
How do they do? I mean, obviously there's not pecans in it.
No.
Is it a?
They're just straight out recipes. But I actually do have a whiskey here that is finished in a pecan barrel.
Finished in a pecan barrel.
Yeah. I haven't had it yet.
Now the wood, when you say that, you mean the wood is pecan, and they finished it in that. Yep. We have pecan trees, so I'm hip to pecan wood.
This is I haven't tasted this one, so
I'm gonna confuse everything over here. I like to see what's the difference. What's like,
so the Four Roses one is basically that's like ultra elite. This is more of an everyday.
Okay.
Or an everyday bourbon. Still very yummy.
I like it.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
I like it. There's not as much happening. There's not as much going on in my palate as the Four Roses.
Yeah, that Four Roses small limited edition small batch was it's otherworldly in some ways, but this one is if I'm to break down the New Riff I just poured, I mean, it's got toasted, to me it's got toasted rye bread, it's got a little bit of corn, like a corn pudding, some caramel, pecan, almost a pecan pie, really.
Yeah. Pie.
Yeah. It's a pretty
burnt pie crust taste.
It's a really, really good bourbon. Really, really good. Now this is bourbon whiskey finished with Texas pecan wood. And the guy Ed Belfleur is the guy who owns this. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He was a goalie for the Stars, and he got.
You a hockey fan?
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I am, but I'm not as much.
I mean, I watch like the Olympics, but I'm a football guy.
Yeah. Who's your team?
Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys, and we've lost to Ole Miss a few times in a couple bowl games.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I don't know if let me taste this before you taste it.
Is this the?
I don't know if I want you to taste
Is this right here? Is this Belfleur?
Yeah. This one might be a risk for you to taste.
Okay.
It tastes a little bit like a spoiled beer to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm actually just gonna restart.
So I'm going
Spoiled beer, like an old hot, like the bottom quarter inch of an old beer.
Yeah, like you left it out too long, and I mean, some people like that taste.
I don't know who they are. I don't want to hang out with them.
Some of my fraternity buddies and
skunk beer.
Yeah,
nah,
it tastes a little like skunk beer.
I don't play that game.
Okay, so let's get so this is Sazerac rye. This one is beastie almost. It's really complex, but it's a rye whiskey, not a bourbon. Mm-hmm. So it's going to have quite a bit more spice to it. This one is it's got some of those pecan notes in there. Hey, let me fill you up here.
Go ahead.
Do that here.
Yeah, that one's empty. Quick hands. There we go. All right, and what's Thomas Handy?
So Thomas Handy, this is part of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection.
Oh, that's where I know that. That's yeah. Smells nice. Like a candle with that.
You know, they do make whiskey candles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have a few in the house. Which already smells like bourbon. Oh, man. So this has the bitterness of like the pecan shell versus the actual pecan.
I ain't mad about this. This is okay. That's good stuff.
This is good sipping whiskey for sure.
Thomas H. Handy. Yeah, that's in the Buffalo Trace umbrella.
Mm-hmm. That's sorts.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Buffalo Trace has a lot of great whiskeys to their credit. Now, one more I want to taste with you. This is Michter's 20-year-old. And here I got us 3 glasses. I feel like I should have probably got us more.
Let's see. Oh, we just need to empty some.
Yeah.
I hate to do that. You know what? There we go. Fresh glass.
Fresh glass.
Fresh glass.
There we go.
You said this is Michter's 20.
Yes, this is probably, of everything I have up here, this is the hardest bottle to get. Only 440 of them. And that's the last bit of it right there.
So we're talking about a hard bottle to procure, ladies and gentlemen. Fred ain't playing with this one. Let's see. 418 and 440. You weren't lying.
You know it's good when I'm silent. You know?
Same. I'm just over here thinking about it.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of, and this is why I love interviewing musicians, is because you all get it. Like when I sit down and I give you all a good whiskey, you all understand it. To you, this is a script. This is a song. You feel the notes. You feel it in your body. And to me, that's why I'm doing this. Why I'm interviewing musicians.
Yeah.
Is because your palates may not be trained.
Sure.
But you comprehend the ability. You comprehend what's happening, you know, and you're thinking about it.
Somebody tried to convey something right there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just like a song. Like what they wrote a verse, a chorus, and like, what did you get when you took away from it? And so I understand, like, there's a song there. What was he trying to say?
Yeah.
And each person may get a different message. It may not, so.
So this was my number 2 whiskey of
Number
the year.
2.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, what was?
Well, what was number 1?
3 and 1.
Jesse Alexander polished off number 1.
Okay.
It was King of Kentucky, and
that was 2.
That was 2.
4 was.
Number 3 was a single barrel of Uncle Nearest, which is actually a Tennessee brand.
Okay.
And then 4 was this number 5.
Top 5. Here we go.
What was 5? I don't remember what number 5
Canadian Club.
No.
Plastic bottle. Half gallon.
No, it was. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. This was number 5. That was number 4, right there.
The Angel's Envy.
Yeah, well, not that one, but yeah,
one in front of it. The rye.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This Angel's Envy was number 4. Not that particular bottle, but an Angel's Envy product.
It's a strange bottle.
Yeah.
That's not a bottle. I thought that was like a Jello shot.
It's they put them in test tubes when they send them out.
Sorry about that.
So here's a fun one for you. So when you taste this, does it remind you of any one of your songs?
This is I'd be lying if I said it didn't taste. It remind me of It's strong. It has it's strong, but it's not like a cheap strong. It doesn't burn. It doesn't sit on the palate in a weird way. So I have a lot of strong women in my life that I've written about, I was inspired by, and any songs in particular.
So Michter's 20 reminds you of strong women.
Well, just the way it, I don't know. It is what it ain't. It's there, but you might, I would call this one Money's on You.
Okay.
Money's on You. This song, one of my songs, Money's on You. Yeah.
I'm going to have to listen to that and taste it at the same time.
Hey.
So that'll be an exercise.
Money's on You.
See where it pairs best in the song.
Money's on You.
You want to taste something else?
Hey, let's go.
Okay. Well, I don't want you to pour that one out. So let me get a fresh glass as you.
I don't want to pour this one out either.
Yeah, that'd be a travesty.
Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Counting down the.
All 25 bottles that I can just see from room to room.
Well, I will apologize. I'm light.
Oh, I assumed as much. When you see 25, there's another 125 somewhere.
Yeah, I at the festivals I'll have like 60 to 120. At my house and my office, I got a couple thousand. Some of them are accessible, some of them are like hidden. Here's one of the things, and the people who follow me know this. My wife steals my bourbon.
Really?
Yeah, she steals my bourbon and does it to taunt me. She'll make a cocktail while I'm out of town and post it on Instagram. And she'll drink a lot of the really good stuff while I'm out of town. Which
is such a double-edged sword because it infuriates you, but at the same time, you're like, this is why I married this woman.
Exactly.
I respect that she doesn't go for the cheap stuff, which I'm sure you don't even have in the house. But
I have plenty of it.
If she pulls the good stuff, you're like, that's.
I mean, it's a conundrum because I do get upset about it, but at the same time, it's like, God, I love you.
I love you.
So let's crack open a bottle together. This is something I have not tasted yet.
Here.
And it gives me a chance to educate you a little bit about
Resilient.
about the market. So in whiskey, they call it there's a whole category where you can buy whiskey from like a wholesaler.
You got it?
Yeah, finally got it. You can buy whiskey from like a wholesaler, buy their barrels, and then bottle it yourself. And those are called it's called source whiskey. We call those people non-distiller producers, and this has been going on for ages, but they didn't distill it themselves. And what happened was a few years ago.
So they distribute, but they don't distill.
So they buy. It would basically be they buy the barrels, these barrels, and then they bottle it for themselves. So they're merchant bottlers or independent bottlers. There's a lot of different ways they call themselves, but they basically create their brands with other people's whiskeys, but they buy it, so it's technically theirs. But there was this whole controversy a few years ago where people, you're supposed to put the state of distillation. So this says distilled in Tennessee and bottled in Pembroke, Kentucky. So these guys are being upfront and honest about what happened, about what they did with their whiskey. But what happened like a few years ago, people stopped taking off like where it was distilled, and they tried to make it out like this is all whiskey. We've been making this since 1952, or something like that. And they got called out on it, which is the way things are today. You try to deceive people, you're going to get called out. And so that left a bad taste in people's mouths for the whole source whiskey market. But now it's making a comeback, and people are being honest about it, and you're starting to see really nice products come out like this with some age to it. So,
which I respect.
Yeah.
I like seeing that,
There's nothing wrong with doing this. It's a matter of just be transparent.
Can I ask I wouldn't say it's a dumb question because I don't know, but why would you choose to go about it that way? Is it just a means of business? Is it just a part of it?
So there's it is less expensive to build a distillery. Is like crazy expensive.
I'm sure.
Like millions. And it's easier to buy the barrels, and it's easier to bottle them than it is to build a distillery, buy the corn, hire the people to make it. To do it right, you need $25-30 million. And then you have to wait. Like this guy opens up his doors a year ago, goes to brokers and says, "Hey, do you have any 15-year-old bourbon?" And he gets a bunch of 15-year-old bourbon to taste, and he picks which ones he wants, and he chooses what's here. And so from a pure branding strategy, it makes more sense if you care about the brand, to create a brand to do that. But if you're in the long game where you've got kids and all that, and you guys are destined to be family distillers, then building a distillery is a sharp way to go too. So.
Yeah, so is that necessarily, and it's resilient, right?
This is resilient.
Is that necessarily resilient whiskey, or could we be drinking another whiskey that Resilient calls resilient?
It's exactly what it is, and I already know just by smelling it. I know what this is.
Yeah.
This came from the George Dickel distillery.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're kidding. You smelled that, and you connected the notes there and the dots.
Yeah, so Dickel has a very, very, very particular smell. And it's almost like crumbled. It's like if you crumbled up Flintstone vitamins,
which is an immediate taste that everybody can get to.
Exactly.
Purple or orange, which was your color?
I think I was orange.
I was orange too. Yeah. Definitely.
Now my kid's on them.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care.
They still make Flintstones vitamins?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's the only way that people know the Flintstones.
That gives me hope. Yeah, because they're not on TV.
No, they're not on TV. No one
I
cares.
saw Scooby-Doo on Netflix the other night or Amazon Prime one, and I was like, this is what we're watching. If for no other reason, I feel like I'm watching a unicorn right now. You don't see it anymore. So, right.
So there's that particular smell there. And, you know, that's not bad. It's pretty corn forward for me. For 15 years old, that's very unique. You don't usually get corn forward in a 15-year-old. But if I were to compare this to a song, this would be a bluegrass song for me.
No doubt.
You know?
Flat picking.
Yeah. Like I wanna listen to some bluegrass when I'm tasting this.
One mic, 4 instruments.
Yep.
Stand in a half circle and play.
Oh.
Yeah, I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot.
But in its defense, you've been tasting some juggernauts.
I was say, in its defense, we had what was it, number 3?
We've had a lot of good ones. And you know what I feel like? Oh, there she is.
I like it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I recognize that bottle.
Yeah, this one.
Is that a Jefferson?
This is another one of the Buffalo Trace Antique collections. It's William LaRue Weller.
Oh, Weller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're gonna miss hanging out with me when you go to a bar later and you see these.
Where do you go? And why would you go anywhere in town? I wouldn't pay for a drink. I'd just sit right here.
It's you know, the thing about it is, it's like drinking by yourself though. It ain't fun. You know, I like company.
Yeah, and that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
A lot of country songs have been written that way though. Yeah.
I mean, all right. So I've figured out the hallmarks of country music writing.
I gotta hear this.
So whiskey's one of them
for sure.
So whiskey, trucks, tractors, someone dying or cheating,
girls,
and a dog.
Inevitably. Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I missing one?
Trains.
Trains? Okay.
Maybe in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
But not anymore. But still, trains are so prominent. But no, you nailed all the major ones.
And I think I'm really disappointed that bourbon doesn't get used more. Everyone says whiskey, and
well, it's just this thing that you say a lot in the writing room. Which one sings better? And it may be the difference in between the words telephone and phone. You'll say telephone, phone, telephone sings better. So that you may say whiskey sings better than bourbon.
Yeah,
and that it may have they're drinking bourbon, but they're singing about whiskey.
You do see a rise of tequila coming into the music.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tequila has a nice sound to it too, and I love tequila.
Tequila.
Oh man. That's better than what I remember.
That's real good, Fred.
And it's yummy.
Don't tell me what the notes are. Let me see. I want to try to. Don't tell me what anything.
I'm not gonna tell you anything on this one. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna just sit back and let it just kind of play me, work me. This one's
like a warm blanket. A hug. That's good. That's hard to beat.
That is a hard one to beat.
I feel like we just heard a song or something, and we just walked out of the auditorium not talking.
Yeah. I mean, we're both thinking about it, even though I have, and here's the thing about whiskey. What I taste today is no doubt different than what I tasted 2 weeks ago. Because the whiskey's not changing, you're changing.
Sure.
The mood you're in, what's influenced you, the company you're with, it all influences you. And You know, I guess right now I'm in a William LaRue Weller mood.
Yeah.
Because it's tingling the back of my spine, you know.
Yeah, and it's I don't ever ask people, you know, like what am I supposed to taste here? There's no wrong answer. It's whatever you taste, man. It's how you feel.
That's exactly right.
What's going on? What's going on that day? Well, it was Christmas. Well, there you go. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, like, yeah, I'm a critic. Yeah, I'm putting stuff out there that I like or I don't like it. But in no way am I telling you that you should be tasting this. What I try to do is I try to tell people that we're the taste that we get is a measure of that moment in the day, and that you can, what I taste is going to be different than what you taste. And like if I taste pecan, you know, you may get almond. It's down the same like spectrum as like a nut, but it's different. So
that's good. That, because of the unexpected factor, that may be the best one I've had today.
Wow.
For the just because I had no expectation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It definitely has the complexity there. Definitely has the complexity.
Resilient.
Did not stand up for us in comparison to the rest, but it's not its fault. It was up against some heavy hitters. Let's have this test tube one.
Test tube.
The Angel's Envy, and that'll be the wrap. What do you say?
Test tube. Sure, let's go.
All right, just give you a little bit there.
And now, why the test tube? You said that a second ago, but I wasn't.
You know,
I wasn't listening, which is per usual.
Well, this is just how they send their samples. You know, most people send them in small bottles.
That's a sample. That's just a sample.
Everyone tries to be different. So this is actually, everything you've tasted has been straight whiskey, which means that nothing was ever added. It was never put in an additional barrel. This is finished in port wine barrels, specifically tawny port. And tawny port is it's the older port. And so they took regular bourbon and they put them in port wine barrels for some additional time. And so that right there is controversial whiskey. It's very good, but the law of bourbon says that it must be in new charred oak. What they have done and what the government has allowed is that it's allowed people to take bourbon and finish it in other barrels, but they call it distilled spirits specialty. That's what it's like, but they can still call it bourbon on the label, but under like federal classification, it's a distilled spirit specialty. Now, that is the kind of inside baseball that's probably the equivalent of like 7 people writing a song, and I mean, how many people put their hands on that Lil Nas song, Old Town Road? Like,
yeah,
just that kind of thing. Like I heard that the 9 Inch Nails guy, Reznor had wrote it or had an impact on it.
Had a hand in that for sure.
And I was like, that shocked me. But anyway, so that's a little bit of inside baseball there for you.
Yeah. So it's because this was this, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This had a moment inside of a port barrel, which I've had port before. I've had a port before, which was.
Yep.
I love how you smell of it. My nose is untrained over here.
That's probably my gift. The rest has been, a lot of it's been learned, but my nose, I've always had a nose.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in like farming areas, and I could smell cow shit a mile away before anyone else.
Yeah, it smells like home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to. Let's taste it first. I don't love it, Fred. You know what? It changed. It flipped right there at the last second, and
It did the old flipperoo on you.
Well, I not flipped to good. It just flipped. It was.
It's so. Here's the thing.
There's something on the back of it that I can't put my finger on. No, I just can't figure it out.
So this has a lot of like apricot in it for me.
Fruit for sure.
Yeah. So what you've done is you've tasted all these whiskeys that are a particular style, and then you come to this one, which is so right field in comparison to the rest of them, and it's making your palate reshift a little bit.
It's bright, It's kind of. I'm gonna renege on that. I wouldn't say I didn't love it. I'll just say it's so different, like you said, as compared to everything else we've had.
Well,
what do you think? You haven't said anything.
Yeah, so I came out pretty strongly that I liked this a couple weeks ago, and then I retasted it now, and I still like it. It's in a different flavor wheelhouse. It's very interesting to taste it after all of those straight whiskeys. It's because it's in a very different wheelhouse.
I would put everything that we have here on one side of the table, and I would put that by itself.
Yeah,
that's a whole. When I misspoke, I wouldn't say I don't like it. It's just it's so different.
It's okay. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. So as we close out, what do you got? What are you working on new? Where can people check you out?
Man, they can find me on all the usual vices.
Mm-hmm.
Catch me on LinkedIn. No, I'm just kidding.
LinkedIn, that's like, wow, LinkedIn, huh?
Going way back, 2007. No, I'm on all of them. I'm on social media. Catch me on Instagram, Facebook, all those. And also just come to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Come to a show. Any given Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night of the week, you can catch me or somebody like Nick Wayne, and we have just all kinds of just spider webs of people that we're connected with, that we play shows with, and you can just step into, I know tickets are sometimes hard to come by, but if you can just step into a writer's room or a writer's round,
mm-hmm.
come to a show. And that's really the most accurate way to figure out like what I'm doing, what I'm about, because I feel like those people that are there, they want to be there.
Right.
They want to hear what's going on with the story and what we're working on right now. And I'm putting songs together, and I'm writing a lot. I'm going to write today, matter of fact.
Okay.
Later this afternoon.
Well, hopefully there's a little inspiration you got out of here.
So many things that I can't tell you. I wanted to reach over here and be like, and write that down for an idea, but I got 90% of them, and the ones I don't remember, they probably weren't good enough. So
I love that. I love that you're always thinking about what to write.
Thank you for asking me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for Nick for connecting us. This was a good way to start off a Friday. Maybe the best way.
That's awesome. I agree. I don't. I usually put my tastings off till about like 3:00.
Yeah.
But I always notice that when I do it in the morning, it's really bright. The problem is that we'd had a few. It's like, then what? Like nothing else is better.
Yeah. Well, and I even what I was saying before we tasted the Angel's Envy. I didn't want to come in biased towards anything. I didn't even put on chapstick, no cologne, nothing. I just wanted to walk in. Well, I don't have a great nose, but if I'm smelling that, I figured it would mess this up.
Man,
so,
you're a man after my own heart.
Man, I wasn't playing today, Fred. I was coming in. Let's do it for real. I learned a little bit today though, which I always love.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Trent, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, man.
This is awesome. And this won't be the last. We're going to hang out some more. I know it. I can feel it.
I can feel it. I'll see you in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You coming to Kentucky soon?
Man, I'm always in Kentucky.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we need to get you in on some shows there.
I'll meet you at the Dairy Bar. Yeah. See you in Bowling Green at the Corvette Museum. Yeah.
The Bowling Green, I don't get there enough, but there's some good barbecue there.
Yeah, I've had it. Yeah, I've had it.
I love me some Bowling Green.
Yeah, we'll go fishing.
I love that. Well, everybody, thanks for joining to the Fred Minnick Show. Go check out Trent and all he's doing. He is one cool dude. Cheers.